Part 1. You will hear a customer speaking with a garage representative about scheduling a car service and discussing service options, costs, and other details. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 1 to 10.
Good morning. You've reached Johnson's Auto Garage. This is Daniel speaking. How can I help you today?
Good morning, Daniel. My name is Emma Taylor. I'd like to schedule the service for my car.
Of course, Emma. Could you please tell me the make of your car?
Sure. My car is a Honda Civic. I've been driving it for a few years now, and it's been incredibly fuel efficient and easy to maintain.
That's great to hear. And could you also share its manufacturer year with me?
Of course, Daniel. It's a 2020 Honda Civic EX. This model comes with a lot of advanced features like a sunroof, Apple CarPlay, and a great safety package.
Got it. And is this your first time using our services, or have you been here before?
This is my first time.
You're welcome to Johnson's Auto Garage. Let me collect some details for our records. Could I have your phone number, please?
Sure. It's 0789 456 2310.
Perfect. Now, could you tell me what kind of service you're looking for?
Well, it's been about 6 months since my last oil change, and I think the brakes might need checking. I also want to ensure everything is running smoothly, so perhaps a general maintenance check.
It's like a standard package with a brake inspection added.
Great. Could you also check the battery? It's been acting up recently.
Absolutely. We can include a battery health check as well, but that costs an extra fee. For a Honda Civic, our standard service includes an oil change, tire rotation, and a 40-point safety check.
Perfect. How much will all this cost?
For a standard service, it's £85. A brake inspection is an additional £25.
That's reasonable. Are there any discounts available?
Yes, we're running a 10% discount for first-time customers. So your total would come to about £99.
That's great. What about payment options?
You can pay with cash, card, or via our mobile payment app.
Convenient. When is the earliest available slot?
Let me check. We have openings tomorrow at 11 a.m. or Thursday at 3 p.m.
Tomorrow at 11 works perfectly.
All right, I'll book you in for tomorrow, 11 a.m. Will you be waiting at the garage, or should we call you when the service is done?
One more question. What time should I arrive tomorrow?
Please arrive about 10 minutes before your appointment to check in.
We'll wait there. How long will this service take?
It should take about an hour. Assuming there are no major issues, it may take up to 2 hours. If there is any defect, it depends on the error. The bigger the error, the more time it may take.
That's good to know. Do I need to bring any documents with me?
No, just the car keys and yourself. We'll handle everything else.
Great. Do you also provide a record of the service?
Yes, we'll provide a detailed service report and a checklist of everything we've inspected.
Very excellent. By the way, what happens if you find something that requires additional repairs?
We'll give you a call before proceeding with any extra work. We believe in transparency, so no surprises on your bill.
Appreciate that. Are there any facilities available while I wait?
Yes, we have a customer lounge with free refreshment.
Got it. Thank you, Daniel. You've been very helpful.
My pleasure, Emma. We'll see you tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That is the end of Part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 1. Part 2. Hear a radio host discussing a cultural hub and the events scheduled there next week. First, You have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen and answer questions 11 to 15.
Hello and welcome to Cultural Highlights. I'm your host, Sarah Mitchell, and this is your dedicated weekly radio program where we delve into the best of arts and culture in our region. Every Thursday evening, we take an in-depth look at cultural venues, events, and exhibitions coming up in the near future. Tonight, we're turning our attention to the Grand Cultural Hub. Even if you haven't been there yourself, you've probably heard of it. It's widely regarded as one of the top locations in the country for contemporary dance performances. However, it's much more than just a dance venue. The Hub is an expansive facility that encompasses a variety of artistic experiences under one roof. It includes performance halls, interactive art spaces, a multi-screen cinema, a photography studio, and even a rooftop garden. There are also 3 charming cafes and a craft store where you can pick up unique handmade items. With so much on offer, it's easy to see why it attracts visitors from all walks of life. But how did this impressive venue come into existence? Well, the site was originally a large factory complex that shut down in the early 1960s. The city council saw the potential to turn it into a cultural space, and after years of planning, construction finally began in 1978. The project took nearly a decade to complete, with the Hub officially opening its doors in 1987. Unlike some privately owned venues, this center is still owned and operated by the city government, ensuring its focus remains on serving the local community. Both the Regional Ballet Company and the City Art Ensemble played a significant role in the development process, and they now call the Hub their home. Between them, they offer a packed schedule of performances, with the venue operating 364 days a year.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
To give you an idea of what's coming up next week, here are a few of the highlights. For fans of live theater, there's a special performance of Twelfth Night taking place on Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m. in the Aurora Theater. Tickets start at just £12, but be quick if you want to snag the best seats as demand is high. Movie enthusiasts will be delighted to know that on Tuesday evening at 7:45 p.m., Cinema 4 is screening A Journey Beyond, a critically acclaimed Italian film. Tickets are a bargain at £5.50, down from the standard price of £7, making it an affordable way to enjoy world-class cinema. For those who appreciate visual arts, don't miss the exhibition in Gallery 2 running throughout the weekend from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. The show, titled Patterns of Nature, showcases stunning works by contemporary artists, inspired by landscapes and wildlife from across the globe. The best part? Entry is completely free, making it accessible for everyone. So why not take some time to explore the Grand Cultural Hub next week? Whether you're into dance, theater, film, or visual arts, there's something for everyone. And don't forget to pick up a brochure while you're there to discover even more upcoming events and activities. Next week on Cultural Highlights, we'll be visiting the City Center Museum of Technology, where we'll explore its newest interactive exhibit.
That is the end of Part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 2. Part 3. You will hear a woman discussing a student's volunteer experience and future course options. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen and answer questions 21 to 26.
I've been reading your personal statement, Alex. First, let's talk about your work experience in Africa. What took you there? Was it to gain more fluency in French?
Well, as I'm combining French with African studies, my main objective was to have a deeper understanding of the local social norms. My spoken French was already quite strong, actually.
So you didn't face many language difficulties?
No, not really. In fact, I ended up teaching basic computer skills there, though that wasn't my original plan.
I see. How did you find out about this opportunity?
I came across an organization that coordinates various volunteer programs across Africa.
What kind of roles did they offer?
There were a few options.
Like healthcare, education?
Yes, working in health clinics was one possibility. There was also ecotourism, guiding visitors around wildlife reserves, which I ended up doing. Then there were roles in education and skill development.
But you didn't continue with the ecotourism work. Why not?
It was a bit unpredictable. I never really knew how many visitors would turn up. I'd thought the job might be too demanding physically, but I was fine with that. No, I just wanted something with a clearer structure. I lose motivation otherwise.
What do you think you gained from the experience? It must have been fascinating to observe village life.
Definitely, though it was tricky at first to be accepted by the local community. It was a very small village and some people were hesitant to talk to me, though they were curious about my backpack and wanted to know what I kept inside.
That makes sense.
Yes, but things got better over time. Once people felt more comfortable around me, they really opened up and I formed some meaningful connections.
Did you make good friends?
Yes, especially with one of the teachers and his family.
That's great. What about the leadership structure? Did you work under a project leader?
Yes, and he gave me helpful advice and support.
Was he good at managing the team?
That wasn't really his strength. He was more focused on theoretical ideas than on practical tasks like writing reports. He was quite idealistic.
Did you sign any sort of contract?
I had to commit to a minimum of 2 months. My friends were surprised when I decided to stay longer, a full 6 months in the end. I loved every minute of it.
And on the logistical side, was there anything surprising? What were the accommodations and meals like?
Very basic, but there was always enough food. And I only paid $8 a day for everything. That was incredible. They even provided all the tools I needed, including a tablet.
And you didn't expect that?
No, not at all.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
Well, I'm sure there's much more to discuss. But for now, let's review the modules. You'll need to decide which ones to prioritize. The first option here is Cultural Identity in African Literature. It examines how storytelling has influenced social structures and cultural resilience in African communities. I think it could be valuable for you.
If it focused more on rural communities rather than urban settings, I'd be more interested.
All right. How about Teaching Methodologies in Multilingual Settings?
Do you think that's relevant for me?
Well, given your practical experience in teaching, I think it could be quite useful.
Hadn't considered that. I'll mark it as a definite choice then.
Good. And what about traditional art forms in Africa?
I thought it sounded great at first, but after reading the course outline, I'm unsure.
Don't let that put you off entirely. Why not talk to students who've taken it before deciding?
That's a good idea.
Finally, will you enroll in Swahili for beginners?
I'd already have a good grasp of French, so would that make it easier?
Not necessarily. Some people say French grammar interferes with learning Swahili. It's quite distinct in structure and pronunciation.
In that case, I'd prefer to focus on something else.
Fair enough. Now, what we need to do is...
That is the end of part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 3. Part 4. You will hear a lecture about different types of organizational cultures and their characteristics. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning, everyone. Whether you're planning to pursue a career in education, engineering, or any other field, most of you will eventually join an organization. Now, when you enter a new workplace, you'll notice that each organization has its own distinct environment. This is often referred to as the organization's culture. Understanding an organization's culture is crucial because it influences how decisions are made, how people interact, and even how tasks are approached. A renowned researcher identified 4 primary types of organizational cultures, each with its unique characteristics and advantages. The first type is known as the authority culture. This is commonly seen in startups or small enterprises, where the structure is relatively flat and most decisions are centralized. In such organizations, decision-making is usually controlled by just 1 or 2 key individuals who play a pivotal role in shaping the company's direction. Due to this centralized power structure, there are minimal formal policies or processes in place. Communication often happens informally, through quick discussions or verbal instructions, rather than through structured meetings or written documentation. One advantage of this culture is its ability to respond rapidly to challenges, which is particularly important in industries where timing is critical. However, it also has a downside. The organization's success heavily relies on the judgment of a few people. If these leaders make poor decisions, the entire organization may suffer. Additionally, this culture can create a high-pressure environment, as employees may feel unsure about long-term stability. Employees who thrive in this environment are usually risk-takers who prioritize innovation over security and value the opportunity to make a significant impact quickly. The second type is called the structured culture. This is most common in large corporations with numerous hierarchical levels. Structure defines an organization's hierarchy and workflow, while culture reflects values and behaviors. These organizations are typically divided into specialized departments such as human resources, logistics, or marketing, with each reporting to senior executives. Everything from day-to-day operations to long-term strategies is meticulously documented and monitored, ensuring consistency across the organization. In such workplaces, jobs are strictly defined, and employees are guided by detailed policies and regulations. This culture offers notable benefits. For instance, large organizations with structured systems often benefit from reduced operational costs relative to their output, a concept known as operational efficiency. Additionally, it performs well in industries that require technical accuracy or regulatory compliance, such as pharmaceuticals or aviation. However, the main drawback is its rigidity. Structured organizations are often slow to adapt to changing market conditions or innovate beyond established practices. Bureaucracy and the need for approvals at multiple levels can delay critical decisions. Employees who prefer stable roles with clear expectations and value long-term security are best suited for this type of culture. The third category is referred to as the collaborative culture. This culture is prevalent in project-based firms, especially those operating in fast-paced or highly competitive markets. Unlike structured organizations, top management in collaborative cultures usually assigns tasks and resources for projects, but refrains from micromanaging daily activities to allow teams the freedom to innovate. These organizations often encourage open communication, creativity, and team-based problem-solving, which can lead to highly innovative outcomes. The key advantage of this culture is its adaptability. Teams can quickly adjust their strategies based on client demands or market changes, ensuring the organization remains competitive. However, it lacks cost efficiency and depth in specialized knowledge, as employees may be focused on broad goals rather than honing specific skills. Collaborative culture appeals to individuals who enjoy working in dynamic groups and solving problems collectively. They value teamwork and often find this culture rewarding because of the opportunities it provides to collaborate with others and see direct results from their efforts. Finally, the fourth type is the individual-focused culture. Unlike the other types, this culture places the needs and goals of individuals above those of the organization.
That is the end of Part 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 4.